Greetings! Before I tell this story, I would ask you to like the video and subscribe to the channel if you want to see more stories like this. And now we begin our story.
The evening was supposed to be ordinary, a moment of quiet routine after a hectic day. Ilara Whitlock, nestled on her worn but comfortable couch, scrolled casually through TikTok, the soft glow of her phone illuminating the room. Her mind was occupied with mundane worries, deadlines at work, dinner plans, the usual flurry of life. Then suddenly, the unexpected struck like a lightning bolt from a clear sky. Among the endless stream of viral clips, a video caught her attention, one that would shatter the fragile sense of normalcy she had clung to so desperately. In the flickering light of her screen, Ilara saw a massive stadium, pulsing with the roar of a crowd so vast it seemed unending. The atmosphere was electric, charged with anticipation and celebration. But what was shown on the enormous screen suspended above the stadium floor was not a spectacle of sports or music, as one might expect. Instead, a heart-stopping image appeared, a chilling close-up of her husband, Dorian Hale, standing intimately close to a woman Ilara instantly recognized as Leora Voss, his secretary. Their figures were unmistakably framed beneath the floodlights, and then the image shifted to reveal them locked in a kiss, their lips pressed together on the glaring public screen. The shock hit Ilara with such force that her breath caught and her heart pounded painfully against her ribs. Time seemed to freeze in that instant as denial wrestled with the truth blaring from the pixels before her eyes. How could this be real? Her mind raced, searching for any possibility of mistake or fabrication. But the unmistakable clarity of the image left no room for doubt. Underneath the cheers of thousands, Dorian's betrayal was displayed for all to witness. The scene played over and over as if mocking her, each replay deepening the jagged ache blooming in her chest. Gasping, Ilara fumbled to silence the video, but the devastation lingered like a stinging frost. She was overwhelmed by a torrent of emotions: shock, disbelief, heartbreak, and an acute sense of humiliation. The man she loved, her partner in life, had exposed their private vows to public scorn with such cruel brazenness. The fact it was broadcast on such a grand scale in front of thousands made it all the more humiliating and surreal. It was as if an invisible veil had been ripped away, revealing a painful reality she was never prepared to face. Instinctively, Ilara reached out to her trusted ally, her best friend, Marcellus Grant. Marcellus was no ordinary confidant. He was her steady rock, someone who navigated his own turbulent storms, but never wavered in support of hers. Dialing his number with trembling fingers, she barely managed to choke out the words. "Marcellus, you need to see this. I don't know what to do." His voice was immediate and reassuring, yet alarmed at her distress. "I'm here, Ilara. Tell me everything," he urged. Within moments, she sent him the clip, hoping his calm logic and unwavering friendship could anchor her in the raging sea of confusion. Meanwhile, Ilara's colleague and trusted advisor, Celine Caro, became the next person she turned to. Celine was not just a co-worker. She was the voice of reason amidst chaos, a sharp mind with an empathetic heart. Ilara knew that to navigate the emotional labyrinth unfolding before her, she would need Celine's clear-headed perspective. Their late-night meeting was tense. Ilara laid bare the footage and the bruise it left on her soul. Celine listened carefully, offering comfort, but also practical advice. "We need more than just this video," Celine cautioned. "There could be more to the story. Let's gather facts before you make decisions." As the night wore on, Ilara's thoughts kept circling back to the public spectacle of the betrayal. She found herself questioning how Dorian and Leora, the two she thought she knew, could act with such reckless disregard. What was the nature of their secret meetings? Had she missed signs amid the small cracks of their daily interactions? The stadium, the crowd, the glaring screen. It all represented a betrayal not only of love, but of trust on a colossal scale. She longed to confront Dorian, but the wound was too fresh, the betrayal too raw. Instead, She focused on uncovering truth and planning her next steps carefully. Adding intrigue to the complex situation was the presence of Jasper Morrow, an investigative journalist known for pursuing truth with relentless fervor. Known among Ilara's circle for his integrity and incisive reporting, Jasper had caught wind of the stadium incident. His inquiries and intentions remained mysterious, but Ilara suspected he might hold keys to deeper revelations, hard truths concealed beneath layers of public facades. His role could either complicate or clarify the tangled web surrounding Dorian's actions. Another unexpected thread in this unfolding drama was Thalia Rin, a barista at Ilara's favorite coffee shop and a random witness to the stadium event. Her eyewitness account offered details that no recorded video could capture. The whispered exchanges, furtive glances, and subtle expressions in the crowd before the screen flickered to life. Thalia's observations began to paint a fuller picture of the night, hinting at alliances and betrayals rippling far beyond what Ilara could imagine. Despite the overwhelming storm of revelations, Ilara's spirit was not yet broken. With Marcellus's steadfast support and Celine's sharp counsel, she knew she would gather strength to confront not only Dorian, but also the painful reality she was forced to face. This was only the beginning of a profound upheaval that would unravel secrets, test loyalties, and challenge the very foundation of trust. From the ashes of that crushing moment on the stadium screen, Ilara found a fierce determination kindling deep within her, a vow to seek truth at all costs, whoever it might hurt. The night faded slowly into dawn, bringing no easy answers but a resolve that refusal to remain a passive victim. The journey ahead promised difficult confrontations and painful discoveries, but Ilara was ready to reclaim her story on her own terms. How she would navigate the treacherous path ahead, unravel the mosaic of lies, and emerge stronger was a story still unwritten, a story that was about to unfold with all its complexity and depth in the chapters that awaited. Расследование и неожиданные свидетельства. A sharp coldness gripped Ilara Whitlock's chest as she replayed the video on her phone over and over again. There it was, impossible to deny. Her husband Dorian Hale standing on the giant stadium screen, locked in an intimate kiss with Leora Voss, his secretary, right before a sea of cheering fans. The image burned itself into her mind, shattering the trust and the world she thought she knew. Yet even as her heart fractured, a relentless urge to uncover the truth propelled her forward. She knew she could not remain a passive victim to this public betrayal. Ilara's first step was to reach out to Marcellus Grant, her steadfast friend and confidant, who immediately sensed her turmoil. His calm presence comforted her, reminding her that she did not have to walk this path alone. Together, they debated the best path forward. Marcellus insisted on involving someone from the media who could pursue answers with unflinching dedication. It was then that Ilara remembered Jasper Morrow, a journalist renowned for exposing hidden scandals with discretion and integrity. With trembling hands, she sent him a message outlining what she had witnessed, hoping he might be the ally she so desperately needed. To her relief, Jasper responded almost instantly. His enthusiasm for the case was palpable, but so was his respect for her privacy and safety. He arranged to meet in a quiet cafe where Ilara unfolded the story in vivid detail. Jasper listened intently, occasionally scribbling notes, his sharp mind already piecing together possible angles. He was particularly interested in the dynamics between Dorian and Leora, their past interactions, and whether this betrayal stretched beyond the stadium spectacle. Ilara felt a small flicker of hope kindled by his professionalism and determination. Amid this new alliance, an unexpected encounter stirred the investigation further. Thalia Rin, the barista at Ilara's favorite coffee shop, happened to overhear part of Ilara's conversation with Jasper during one visit. Thalia approached cautiously, her voice soft yet firm. She revealed she had seen Dorian and Leora together on several occasions long before the stadium incident. This revelation was startling and vital. Thalia, though just a humble observer of everyday life, had unwittingly become a crucial witness, lending weight and dimension to Ilara's quest for truth. Armed with this new testimony, Ilara's resolve only deepened. She consulted her colleague Celine Caro next, whose sharp intellect and empathetic nature provided much-needed counsel. Celine encouraged Ilara to prepare for the emotional background of such revelations, warning her that the truth might not only expose infidelity, but also challenge her fundamental understanding of loyalty and love. Celine's words echoed within Ilara's mind as she contemplated the fragile lattices of human relationships, how easily they could fracture and yet sometimes mend through honesty. In the days that followed, Ilara allowed herself moments of deep reflection. The joyous veneer of her marriage came apart piece by piece, revealing fractures she had previously chosen to ignore. She wrestled with disbelief and grief, but also an emerging clarity. The betrayal was not just Dorian's, but a symptom of something unspoken in their shared life. Ilara started to question the silent spaces between them, the missed conversations, and the moments where heartbeats flew out of sync. This introspection, though painful, was an unexpected grace. Jasper's investigation gained momentum, leading him to confidential sources and encrypted messages between Dorian and Leora. The layers of deceit began to unfold with ruthless precision. Ilara watched as the man she loved became a figure entangled in webs of secrecy and manipulation. Yet even as anger surged, so did a curious admiration for Jasper's tenacity. His work was not just about spotlighting infidelity, but uncovering the complex motivations that drive people to betray those closest to them. It was a harsh reminder that no story is ever simply black and white. Marcellus stood by Ilara unwaveringly, offering not just support, but practical aid. He helped her sift through confusing details, offering insights from his own experience navigating complicated relationships. Their conversations, laced with humor and honest vulnerability, became lifelines. Marcellus's loyalty reminded Ilara of the value of genuine friendship, a contrast to the hollow promises around her. This nourishment of trust was crucial as the investigation grew heavier and the emotional stakes higher. Ilara knew she could not lose sight of herself in the midst of chaos. Throughout the unfolding drama, Leora's shadow loomed large yet elusive. Attempts to confront her directly were met with cold deflection and calculated denial, deepening Ilara's suspicion of a carefully constructed facade. This duality fascinated Jasper, who viewed Leora as a complex player rather than a mere antagonist. In his experience, such figures often carried hidden stories fueling their actions. Ilara listened to his analyses with a mixture of resentment and reluctant curiosity. Understanding motives did not excuse betrayal, but offered a broader human context that complicated simple judgment. The public nature of the betrayal weighed heavily on Ilara, amplifying her sense of exposure and vulnerability. The stadium incident, witnessed by thousands, transformed private pain into a communal spectacle. Yet amidst this ordeal, unexpected allies emerged. Friends and colleagues rallied discreetly, offering words of support and shields against gossip. Celine, in particular, became a fortress of empathy, reminding Ilara that her identity was not defined by another's betrayal, but by her strength to endure and reclaim her narrative. This reassurance was a beacon in the darkness. Each day brought new pieces of the puzzle to light, but also fresh wounds. The mixture of investigative progress and personal anguish sometimes led Ilara to question her perseverance. Doubts crept in. Was unveiling the truth worth the pain? Could she forgive? Or would this fracture remain forever? These emotional crossroads were as significant as the factual revelations. They forced Ilara to confront not only what had happened, but also who she wanted to become in the aftermath. This internal battle was arduous, yet essential for her eventual healing. The roller coaster of discovery also challenged Ilara's perceptions of Dorian. The man she once idealized now appeared multifaceted, flawed, and human. Jasper's findings unearthed layers of desperation and dissatisfaction beneath the polished exterior. Ilara grappled with contradictory feelings: sorrow for the love lost, fury for the betrayal, and a strange compassion for the broken soul she had attempted to nurture. This emotional complexity denied her the comfort of simple retribution, steering her toward a more nuanced understanding of human frailty and mistake. While much of the saga revolved around betrayal and exposure, it also highlighted resilience and transformation. Ilara's journey was becoming not just about uncovering Dorian's infidelity, but reclaiming her own power and identity. With Marcellus and Selene's steadfast support, she began envisioning a future beyond the shadow of this scandal. The investigation's painful truths paradoxically offered a path to liberation, urging her to redefine happiness and trust on her own terms. Ilara sensed the turning tide, a movement from victimhood towards self-discovery and renewal. As Jasper prepared to publish the initial findings, caution and anticipation swirled in Ilara's mind. The revelations would surely cause ripples far beyond her personal sphere, inviting scrutiny, judgment, and perhaps vindication. She steeled herself for the wave of public attention while nurturing a quiet inner resolve not to be broken. Ilara understood that this was not an end but a pivotal chapter, a moment fraught with uncertainty yet rich with possibility. The coming days would test her in unprecedented ways, illuminating what sacrifices truth demands and what courage truly means. With every new clue and conversation, Ilara felt the tides of her life irrevocably shifting. Once defined by partnership and love, her existence was now a complex tapestry woven with pain, betrayal, and unexpected hope. The path ahead was uncharted, full of challenges and revelations yet to be faced. But in this unsettled space, Ilara found a fragile yet growing strength, a determination to face whatever truths awaited. Her journey was far from over. In fact, the deepest trials and hardest decisions awaited just beyond the horizon, ready to transform everything she thought she knew. Преодоление боли и выбор пути. The moment Ilara Whitlock saw the video on TikTok, her world began to collapse. Her eyes locked on the enormous screen at the stadium where thousands had gathered, displaying an image that no wife ever hopes to witness. There stood Dorian Hale, her husband, captured in a candid yet heart-wrenching moment, his lips pressed firmly against Leora Voss, his secretary. The crowd's cheers around them contrasted cruelly with Ilara's stunned silence, a painful spotlight revealing a betrayal too raw to ignore. Her breath caught, heart pounding, the truth no longer shrouded in shadows, but broadcast for all to see. Ilara's mind raced back to the hours before, to the casual coffee shop where Thalia Rin, the barista with a memory sharp enough to recall faces and conversations, had mentioned murmurs about Dorian's late working evenings with Leora. At the time, Ilara shrugged off the unease, unwilling to entertain the notion of deceit. But now, with Jasper Morrow's investigative journalism unraveling deceit layer by layer, the pieces fit into a grim puzzle. Jasper, relentless and perceptive, had shared details that unfolded like a dark narrative only waiting for the right moment to explode. His reports, combined with the viral video, left no room for doubt or denial. The betrayal pierced deeper as Ilara watched the affectionate embraces caught in the stadium's glare. She remembered the countless evenings she had spent waiting for Dorian, crafting hopes of fidelity and shared dreams. Those dreams shattered instantly, replaced by a raw, searing loneliness. Despair mingled with rage, confusion fighting alongside clarity. Yet amid the storm of emotions, Ilara sensed an unexpected strength bubbling within her. This anguish, though fierce, was a crucible forging a new, unyielding version of herself. With Marcellus Grant, her steadfast friend and confidant, she found the courage to confront the chaos. His calm presence was a balm, reminding her that she was not alone. In the days that followed, Ilara's support system expanded. Celine Caro, a wise colleague and trusted advisor, offered pragmatic counsel amidst the emotional turmoil. Selena's voice was steady and nurturing, urging Elara to envision a future shaped not by Dorian's betrayal, but by her own aspirations and resilience. Together, they crafted strategies to reclaim Elara's life, reminding her that healing required both acknowledging the hurt and choosing to move forward. Celine's perspective illuminated the path ahead, showing that independence and happiness were not just distant dreams but attainable realities. Each conversation, each tear shed in private, and each small victory, be it a determined morning run or a heartfelt chat with Marcellus, built a foundation for Elara's renewal. She realized that overcoming this heartbreak was more than an emotional battle. It was a transformation. The constant feedback loop of social media, once a source of pain, evolved into a tool for her empowerment. Instead of hiding from the world, Elara considered sharing her journey openly, turning her story into a beacon for others caught in similar storms. Her vulnerability could metamorphose into a powerful voice, forging connection from isolation. The process was neither linear nor without setbacks. The memories of Dorian's charm and earlier promises often clashed with the harsh reality of his actions. Yet Elara embraced her contradictions with honesty, refusing to sanitize her experience. Marcellus's advice was clear. Healing does not mean forgetting, but learning to carry the past lightly while stepping confidently into the future. Jasper's continuing investigations hinted at further revelations, complicating the emotional terrain, but also underscoring the truth's importance. Elara's resolve deepened. She was no longer a passive observer, but an active participant in shaping her destiny. A pivotal evening arrived when Elara confronted Dorian. The conversation was heavy with unspoken accusations and brittle truths. Dorian's fragmented explanations could not mend the fractures inflicted by his betrayal, but that confrontation was liberating in an unexpected way. It symbolized Elara reclaiming her voice and autonomy, no longer silenced by shock or disbelief. Standing firm, she conveyed that the future she would choose would be hers alone. Leora's involvement, once a secret whispered behind closed doors, now crystallized into a painful lesson about trust and the necessity of personal boundaries. Seeking solace, Elara found herself returning to the small moments that stitched meaning back into life. A quiet conversation with Thalia, who had witnessed fleeting glances and oddments in the office corridors, brought unexpected comfort. The barista's simple kindness, combined with Selena's strategic wisdom and Marcellus's unwavering friendship, created a mosaic of healing. Elara began to rediscover joy not in grand gestures, but in genuine human connection and self-compassion. Her journey was no longer solely about escape, but about creation, building a life that honored her worth beyond the betrayal. As weeks passed, Elara's vision for her future sharpened. She gave herself permission to dream again, unshackled from Dorian's shadow. The network of friends who stood with her, Marcellus, Selene, and even Jasper with his relentless pursuit of truth, became her pillars of strength. The digital world that once injected pain transformed into a channel of support and self-expression. Elara prepared to face the next chapter boldly, understanding that her story, heavy with heartbreak and resilience, held the power to inspire and uplift. Her path forward remained uncertain, peppered with challenges and surprises, but one truth was clear. Elara would no longer be defined by others' betrayals. This crucible had refined her spirit, revealing a woman who chose healing and hope over bitterness and despair. As she stepped away from the stadium's glare and the viral video's cruel spotlight, she embraced a new dawn beyond the pain. The future awaited, open and uncertain, but hers to claim. This renewal marked not an end, but a beginning, an invitation to discover strength in vulnerability and joy in the possibility of new beginnings. With her allies beside her and lessons etched into her heart, Elara stood ready to write the next page of her life's story. The echoes of betrayal persisted but no longer dictated her path. Instead, they fueled a desire to rise, to heal, and to find happiness on her own terms, regardless of the shadows left behind. The next chapter beckoned, promising growth, discovery, and above all, freedom.